Hi, Lotus Globe from Galactic Central. It is the new year, 2019, and has been at least 3 months since I last made a video, and figured now is the right time to expand my YouTube channel again because I know that I feel this year I'm in a more contemplative and calm space than I was last year. 2018, without a doubt, was the darkest, most depressing year that I've ever seen. And that's actually how I want to start off this video today, because I want to be able to touch on a few things from my past while also blending them together with where I am now and see where the course of my life is going to take me in the future this year. Because this year, I am really set in stone now, fueled with healthy anger to really pursue some long delayed goals, particularly goals that have been really, really buried and dormant. And it's been through some chance encounters with people from last year that I feel now meeting them, I've started to discover my most authentic self possible. So that's why, as you notice, the topic of this video is about empathy. And it's it's a perfect topic that I think, in the event that this video seems to be really, really scattered around, at least you'll know that it's going to come back full circle again to the title on empathy. Because I feel that I've needed to get a video out there to share my thoughts about my personal science behind emotions, what integrity it takes to understand, respect other people's emotional states, while also holding my own integrity conduit. And the thing is that emotions are just extremely, I mean, emotions are the full reason why we, why the most invisible, wondrous, irrational, scary things, that exist beyond the physical are made possible. And emotions are basically the link, the conduit between the physical and the spiritual intelligence levels of the human brain. So, so I wanted to start out by just saying that last year I lost 3 friends, except I wouldn't even really call them friends in the most authentic sense because I've known these people for close to 15 years, all 3 of them, and I had to break off with them because new changes in my life now, moving out of my dad's house, making at least a 90-degree break away from all of those labor jobs that were depressing me in the past, and now working at a fitness club, which I was hoping was going to be the seed to plant in order to initiate a new path of wellness for myself. And I can say that in working at Elite Sports Club for what, 5 months? So I started working there in August. I can already say right now that I've really got to get my game on in order to really get a good fitness plan together, because especially now living on my own, extremely essential if I want to ensure that I can guarantee stable physical health for many years to come. Being 32, going on 33 now, it seems highly unlikely that that's going to happen unless I have the one thing that I need that's going to help to sustain that, and that is a support system. So, so I lost 3 friends last year because I knew that they were no longer a vital part of that support system anymore. And just adjust the camera here. I know I keep doing this, but I haven't made a video in a while, so I just have to adjust the angle here to make sure that I'm actually looking good here. Okay, so, yeah. So I lost 3 friends last year because I felt that the choices that they were making and the philosophy that they lived by was not working for me. And in fact, there were things that were rubbing up against me quite badly that I just knew I had to put my foot down and tell them to fuck off. Because as far as I knew, I only got to this place now in my life because I've had to be very flexible with my language over time. So, first, the fact is that it's been very difficult to find people who can understand the broken home that I come from, who can respect the trauma that was inflicted on me, as a result of having grown up in that home, and who can actually read the inner reality in which I've gone about processing my existence up to this point. Because the thing is, I've talked about my broken home and numerous times have talked about how, I was afflicted by trauma because of caring, having to be a parent figure for my mother because of all of her afflictions. And then, of course, living with a father who, my parents divorced, of course, when I was a kid. And then things didn't work out well on my mom's side because I had reached a point where my ability to give was being drained. I was really being taken advantage of. And I just, had to draw the line at some point. And so then when I went to live with my dad, it was actually the exact opposite. Now it was him who was drawing the line, and I having to put myself in a position where I was constantly rearranging my life around to ensure that I was going to still have a bed to sleep in tomorrow, to ensure that I wasn't going to be kicked to the curb, which my dad would have done and has done a half dozen times. Well, he's threatened to do so. He had threatened to do so. That's why I finally had to end up living here. Because as I look back through all those years now, I can see that the connecting thread has been about finding that fine line between sympathy and empathy. Now, in maybe like the last 5 or 6 years, I only knew what empathy was and what it meant to be an empath. And I've understood now that all the years that I've spent, giving my energy and, constantly having to suppress my emotions, just my own feelings about a certain situation in order to make other people happy, in order to find mutual ground, was in fact eroding me from within. Now, as I understand it, that's what sympathy is. Now, empathy, on the other hand, is, well, it's quite the opposite, really, because it's being able to give while also acknowledging boundaries, acknowledging that there needs to be a mutual ground in which needs are being met, but differences are also being respected between two people. Now, that was never happening as I was growing up in my home, you know, for 32 years of my life. And and yet the fact is that uh, you know, despite despite feeling used and abused, many people have noted, many people that I've encountered within the spiritual community have told me that I have this gift to actually be giving and caring, um, and and along with that, it's like I have this incredible intuition where I can visualize things very, very vividly in my mind. And, you know, that's all fine and great, except how does one arrive at being an empath when one is still stuck in the muddy soup of being I guess, sympath, if that's the word to use? Because that's how it's been. I've been trapped in that place of constantly matching my emotional state, matching my aura to be an exact mold of that other person. And that's not what empathy is. Because empathy is where, as I understand it, there is a flexibility in each person's emotional state, in each person's aura. And this is how I've come to understand what an aura is. So it's like all those diagrams that I've seen of like, people having auras of different colors across the rainbow spectrum. I believe that what that is just, you know, um, a model or one of many different models, probably the most popular model of what emotions look like and how they manifest and how they define a certain person's character. So now, of course, this conversation also has to move towards my job environment and how I've been working to change that now too. Now, in my understanding, using Antero Ali's model, his Angel Tech model of the Eighth Circuit system of the brain, now the left the left brain, as far as both physical and emotional intelligence circuits are concerned, are the ones that I've needed primary concern and evaluation for. Because circuits 5 and 6 in the right brain, which support sensory and psychic intelligence, can only be achieved if physical and emotional intelligence is established. Now, the thing about being an empath is that when trauma occurs in my own home, it disrupts, the second circuit, and then by default causes the first circuit to really go into freeze mode, which is you know, what would be another way of describing the sympathetic and parasympathetic systems being thrown offline, because the survival functions of growing up in a broken home for me have been sabotaged, because my emotional intelligence, my ability to respond to certain crises that are beyond my capacity to absorb emotionally is also being thrown offline too. So this basically becomes a problem then as far as like first and second chakra development goes. So, but just the fact of the matter is that as time has gone on and I've been living on my own and understanding what it's like to have my own privacy, my own peace of mind, I've also discovered that all those relationships that I've held, all those people who I thought were part of my support system, have now just fallen away from me. Like I've lost them now. And I've lost them not out of ill will or any misguided intentions whatsoever. In other words, it's not my fault that I had to lose certain people in my life, because the more I've started to discover my own physical needs, the more that I've been able to then read the emotional field around those physical things, because I feel that that's how those two circuits of physical and emotional intelligence work well together to support each other. Because the capacity to have something and have power and status in protecting it and valuing it has to do with the ability to be able to just see its to see how it actually amplifies the light in my aura. So then that way it's like whatever I do have becomes a small part of an ever unfolding whole that is basically the creative process of reality in itself. So basically it's like thinking in terms of both pictures and thinking in terms of blanks. If something starts becoming blurred out in the picture, then it automatically means that it's no longer a part of the picture anymore, and it gets lost, it gets whited out. And that's what it's been like now, because for one, I know that in this last month, it has been, my eyes have been opened to this new company that I'm looking and longing to be a part of. and looking to make money from, and it's called Isogenics. And it's a company that specializes in nutrition, wellness, and lifestyle choices. So, thanks to Monica Hidalgo, hi out there, if you're watching this, beauty, she turned me on to this great company that I know is going to help to stabilize physical intelligence. And naturally, once I start seeing changes in my overall aura, then, it follows that physical intelligence is going to be stabilized and organized and sorted out better. And then, of course, the picture will have a chance to unfold itself more organically, as provided that there is no impeding negative forces within that picture. And that's where I've lost a lot of friends this year now, because my philosophy, my understanding of physical intelligence is that because, because of the situations surrounding my ability to parent myself, because of the karma code that I carry with me in my emotions, that that ability to parent myself, to nurture myself, has had to, there's been a need to develop a new program there. And of course, in in the grand scheme of things, when it comes to evolving on the physical plane, there's a thing called work. And being a millennial and having struggled from one labor job to another, I've come to realize now that the entrepreneur route is the way for me to go. Because as an empath, and because it's more it's more natural to my evolution to work in a more holarchy-based system rather than a hierarchy-based system. Being in a line of work that involves supporting people on their fitness goals, whether it's energy boost, weight loss, stress reduction, and balancing blood sugar and cortisol, whatever it may be, and making residual income from sharing and teaching people about nutrition and wellness from the knowledge that I acquire. And that is a very, very essential part of work in my life that has been missing from the whole 9 to 5 job existence. The entrepreneur route really is the way for me to go. And of course, where to find people to support me in that is the question. Because I actually lost 2 other friends over the weekend for that reason. And I lost a girl who my friend Stisha hooked me up with, who could have potentially been, friends with benefits material. I lost her because, because of just because of what I'm going to call a conflict of creative process. And that's actually something that I'll discuss in a separate video, because it is going to be tied to empathy, but it's also going to be like a subcategory of empathy altogether. So in the next video, I'll be talking about empathy in regards to where sex belongs in the equation. So stay tuned for that one, obviously. So anyways, yeah, so that's pretty much all I have right now. So I definitely hope that this is something that you can chew on and really, really munch over. Because for this year, 2019, I definitely want to work at developing my capacity to be more empathetic. See, I guess there's one more thing that I can add here. Now, I think because I'm a guy, it has been much harder for me to recognize my gifts. And it's been very difficult for me, in the context of attracting beautiful women into my life, who for for some stupid reason due to their unevolved emotional natures, you know, find it overwhelming and confusing and difficult to wake up to a very emotional, sensitive man such as myself. Because I am an emotional, sensitive man. So, so yeah. Once again, I find myself getting painted into a corner here. Anyways, yeah. So, hope you enjoyed this video and pay attention for my next one. I think this is going to be a whole new series that's going to unfold now. Um, so, I do have a book that's going to be coming in the mail now sometime this week, and it's going to offer a series of different tools to helping me understand my gift as an empath and discovering the positives behind that gift too, which I believe I'm long overdue for. So, adios.